Hi, Josh. I know you guys, as team, as coaches, you have looked at the way you've run the ball the first few weeks, and you've had sort of mixed reviews on it. 200 yards a game is pretty good, but I wonder how you would view it as a player, how it feels, how it looks. Like, how would you judge a running game at the level you want it to be, look like, feel like? How would you describe that? What would it be?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of weird. We do have mixed feelings on the running game right now. I think um, in so many ways, our running game. I mean, you're right. 200 yards a game certainly is not a bad thing. Um, but it just could be prettier. It could be better than it is. And I feel like in so many of the games, it's been so close to popping, and it just hasn't for various reasons. Um, so it's frustrating, but also, we're moving the ball on the ground still. So mixed feelings is a good way of putting it.
And Josh, how big a deal is first down in that?
It's a massive deal. You have to get in front of this. You can't get behind the sticks. You have to put yourself in a good, manageable second down situation. So it's huge.
All righty, we'll go next to Patrick Murphy, 247. Patrick.
Josh, Indiana is a team that obviously has improved over the last few years, but they haven't been top 10 since the 60s and whatnot. When you've watched them, when you've played against them, what have you seen that's led to this improvement, and what do you see on film that is even better this year?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Indiana, you're right, has been a good, solid football program for a while now, and you could kind of see this coming. Where they had a breakout year like this. So I'm not really surprised, to be honest with you guys. Even like last year, they had a lot of the tools that they needed to be really successful. They had a really good defensive scheme. They had good defensive players. Their offense, I know, struggled a little bit earlier last year, but later in the year they got it going, and so it just seems like they had a quicker start this year, and they're firing on all cylinders. And I think one of the differences is you can just see it on film, the effort that they give. They're playing really hard.
All right, we got a lot of hands raised, and I want to get through as many people as possible, so just limit it to one question, and we'll go to Jeremy Birmingham, Leonard Monroe. Jeremy.
Hey, Josh, there's an old quote that adversity does not build character, it reveals it. And for your team, your program, it seems like 2020 for a lot of other big programs has sort of caused some crumbling to happen foundationally. What makes Ohio State different? And in a room of 5 offensive linemen, four of them who are 5-star top of the line prospects coming out of high school, one in Thayer who was offered basically the day before signing day. Was there ever any difference that you saw in the way he was treated to the way you guys were? And do you think that that's part of the culture?
No, he was not treated any differently than we were from the start. One thing that you find out really quickly when you get to Ohio State is that everything that you did in high school on your way to getting to Ohio State, all the cool things and the things you accomplished, that's great. But Jesus, somebody's gonna break the door down. Once you get here, it's about what you do once you're here. It's not about what you did. It's about where you're on your way to being. So no, there was never any difference in treatment. We're all treated the same way, and we all have a lot of hard work to do to get to where we want to be.
We'll go next to Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Hey, Josh. I just want to put you in Harry Miller's shoes for a minute. Do you think you would have been in a position, think you were ready to start as a second-year guy, top 50 recruit here? And also, when you were in your second year, just kind of walk me through like what your mindset was and where you thought you were mentally in this program compared to maybe where Harry is right now.
My second year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was I ready my second year? That's maybe not so much. If you'd have asked me then, I would have told you absolutely, though. You know what I mean? It was the competitor in me. I couldn't help it. I thought, if you throw me in there, I'll get the job done. So I was definitely very much improved from my freshman year, but I think I still had a ways to go, which is why you didn't see me on the field. It's not an easy thing to do, to be a young guy and start. You just like you have to think about how many obstacles are overcome for not only this team but for a first year starter like Harry. This is his first year starting. It's a weird year. He didn't have any games to kind of get warmed up with. You know what I mean? Our usual early season games where we blow teams out. That we didn't have that this year. We jumped straight into Nebraska and onto our Big Ten schedule, which is tough. So it took our offensive line even last year a couple weeks to really get rolling and start looking like a solid unit together. So there's just so many obstacles for Harry to overcome right now, and all of us too, but especially Harry being a first-year starter and being so young. I'm pretty sure he's 19. He's 19 years old. It's a lot getting thrown at him.
All righty, we'll go next to Dan Hope from 11 Warriors. Dan.
Hey, Josh, just to kind of follow up on that, it seems like there's been, maybe a few times where maybe you and Harry just haven't quite been on the same page and, for something that goes wrong. How do you feel like, you two have played as a unit so far, and kind of what are you working on?
Yeah, there have been times where we have not been quite so gelled together. A couple of things have happened. And those are things that we're working to eliminate. You know what I mean? We'll be just fine. We know what we have to work on. And we've been working on those things and just talking through it and making sure, a big part of it is when the game does come, just relaxing and understanding what we've done to get to where we are, and just making sure that we, don't get too anxious and, want to try and kill somebody, not want to do too much, just calming down and doing our job. That's a big part of it.
All right, next up, we will go to Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch. Bill.
Josh, I hope you'll humor me with this one. I hope you like compare and contrast questions. Nick Petit-Frere and Thayer Munford, just both as players and just guys. Obviously, they've taken very different paths.
Yeah. Obviously, both of them very good football players. Both of them started as Thayer started as a sophomore. And so, yeah, they're slightly different paths. But, great guys, great relationship with both of them, both really good football players that are both playing really well right now. Yeah.
All right.
We'll go next to Bill Landis from The Athletic. Bill.
Hey, Josh, you've kind of touched on some of this already, but I know your position is so dependent upon sort of how you gel with the guy next to you, whether you're combo blocking or in pass protection. I'm just curious, from your point of view, how long you think it takes before a group of guys start to become more comfortable together, or even like a center becomes more comfortable with the guard playing next to them?
Yeah. In a regular year, it should be pretty quick. It should be in the first week, if not second. But it's something that if you've played together for long enough, it should be a pretty quick transition.
All righty, we'll go next to Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com. Nathan.
Hey, Josh, maybe a question kind of along those same lines, but if an offensive line is having trouble at one spot, maybe one guy has a really tough matchup or is just having a bad day, what is sort of the domino effect, and how do the rest of you, I guess, try not to let that happen?
Yeah. Well, it happens. We're not perfect. Sometimes we have bad games, bad days, just like anyone else. And when that does happen, we talk to each other. You know what I mean? There's no one else on the field except for us. We're all we have. So we talk to each other, try and calm each other down, and then help in whatever ways we can. Ask them what we need to do. Make sure make sure that we are doing whatever we can to help that person succeed. And ultimately, if one person's having a bad day, the domino effect is that's our whole offensive line. You know, if one person or two people have a bad day on any given day, obviously not any specific person, but if it happens, then you know that's a judgment on our whole offensive line.
Got time for two more. First, we'll go to Tim May, Letterman Row. Tim.
Yeah, thank you very much. Josh, would you just as soon not ever see another cock nose tackle the rest of your life? I'm just being facetious there a little bit, but then past that, does every play almost seem like a pop quiz for you guys up front? The way defenses mix and match and come after things and try to take certain things away.
Yes, it does. Cock nose, not a fan. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. I'm not a fan. But yeah, defenses do at this point. They do whatever it is that they can to try and stop us. Whether that means being unsound, which is what some of our opponents have done, is just completely thrown sound defense out of the window.
Yeah.
Or whether it be just blitzing, you know, every play. And that's happened most games, or pretty much every game this season. We've been blitzed 80, 90% of the game. And so that's just something that we have to live with and we have to be able to deal with and handle.
Thanks, man.
And last question for Josh, we'll go to Dave Biddle, 247. Dave.
Hey, Josh, you've touched on this a little bit already, but there seems to be something about that third year for offensive linemen. You know, you and Wyatt both became all Big Ten, maybe all Americans as in your third year. The previous year, you guys were backups. We're seeing it now with Nicholas Petit-Ferrer. He said he probably wasn't ready to play last year, and now he's playing really well. Just what is it about that third year for most offensive linemen?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. It has been a big year for a lot of players in our program, especially offensive linemen. I think at that point you've had enough experience actually playing the game, and you know, you have a really good knowledge of our offense by that point in your career. At least most players do. And you've played in some games in the year prior. So I just think it's a combination of some experience and just getting enough reps and mentally understanding the game at the point that you need to. Like, kind of like how I think it was Tim that just asked me about getting blitzed 80 or 90% of the time. If you have a guy who kind of knows the offense and we're getting blitzed 80 or 90% of the time, that's a problem. So I think that's probably the few biggest points.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Josh, very much for your time. Have a great day today.